Last time I was on your live, now you're on mine. It's kind of interesting. All right, let's get him in there. Double tap the screen, everyone. I disconnected. Well, I'll add you possibly after this. Hey, buddy, how old are you? Sorry, you do debate. All right, what do you want to debate?
Yeah, I'm 21. Um, yeah, no, I mean, like I was gonna talk about the vegan thing, but I think the God topic would be more in my expertise.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, like personally, like I'm just gonna run like the moral argument for God's existence, which in
The
my opinion
moral
is one of my
argument for God's existence. You said the moral argument for God's existence, right?
yeah. So this is gonna be defending the idea that a God does exist, and you can just
Okay.
tell me like I'm gonna give you two simple premises. You can tell me which one you disagree with.
Sure.
Yeah, cool. If objective morals and duties do exist, then God exists. Premise two. Um, uh, Sorry, I do apologize. My premise is sorry. Premise one: if objective morals and duties do exist, then God exists. Premise two: objective duties and morals do exist, therefore God exists. What do you disagree with?
I disagree with both of those premises. So number one, you said if objective morals and duties do exist, then God exists. I
Yeah,
don't think that. I mean, again, that struggles in of it itself because I don't believe that morals can be objective by nature. Morals, I think, are purely subjective, and that morality is only present when there's living beings that hold that morality that are alive and present. If there's no living beings that are alive and present that hold the morality, then that morality effectively doesn't exist.
do you think the claim, because you're making the claim that morals are subjective, is the claim that morals are subjective, is that objectively true?
You said is the claim that morals are subjective objectively true? I
Yeah,
believe that to be true. Yes.
you do believe that to be objectively true. Okay,
Yeah.
so when we're talking about an objective truth, okay, aka a universal truth claim, this would mean that it's going to be true independent of stance, always and everywhere in the universe. It could not be true. So it cannot fail to be this way. Um,
Mhm.
as an atheist who doesn't believe in the existence of some kind of God or an agent external to themselves, how would you? What would be the epistemic justification for making a universal truth claim? Because it seems like you'd only have access to particulars. Because I don't see how you would know something is objectively true always everywhere when you don't have access to these like universal truths external to your like
Again,
temporal finite
see,
mind.
I don't believe that. Obviously, I don't believe in a God, and so essentially, again, that's irrelevant. The case of a God to have certain truths, you don't necessarily need a God to have certain truths in our world. Again, of course,
You do.
basis of epistemology, that's not actually true.
It
And
is because I could say that I can make a universal truth claim because I have epistemic justification for the claim being true always everywhere. Why? It's true everywhere because God is everywhere, right? He's omnipresent.
no,
It's true
and number one,
always.
in that case,
Just
you'd
quickly,
have to
just
prove
quickly.
God. It's kind of circular. You'd have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
prove God in the first place. You
sure,
have to
sure, sure, sure.
presuppose it before you prove
Sure.
it.
So it would be true always only if this grounding for this universal is also atemporal, because it would have to be in all points of time or outside of time. It couldn't exist at one present moment. So therefore, the grounding for universal truth claims has to be omnipresent, has to be atemporal, and these are just some of the like
Wait, you
characteristics
said
of
God
the
is.
grounding.
Do you think God is timeless?
I think God is atemporal. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think he's spaceless? Like he doesn't exist in space?
Yes. His
Okay.
essence
So
doesn't
you,
exist in
you do
space.
realize you're effectively describing a being that doesn't exist, something that does not exist in time or in space. Like outside of time and space, you're effectively describing a non-existent thing.
Do you
Like
think the laws of logic exist?
I think the laws of logic exist. The laws of logic are based. And again, hold on one second.
The laws of logic transcend space and time, and they exist.
Again, those are metaphysical concepts. You're making again. I'm not claiming that the laws of logic created the universe or did all of
Are
this.
metaphysical concepts, do they exist? Do metaphysical concepts actually exist?
Only in a extrapolation to what we think. Only a basis on our thinking and our brains. That's as far as they go. In relation to us, that's what you're not understanding. And you're
I
saying,
disagree. That's the application of logic. That doesn't explain why or how this thing exists.
again, you're confusing yourself. You're not understanding is that there are literal extrapolations of what we think basis on us. Okay, so it's basically our understanding of how we view things as well, and on a fundamental basis on how we come to certain conclusions. Again, so you saying what you're saying is relevant, but again, you're moving off the point, and this is what you do. You distract from the conversation at hand.
I
Do
don't
you
distract.
accept that morality cannot exist? Morality literally is not objective and cannot be objective by definition. Can you accept that?
I believe that the only way to ground a transcendental concept is with a transcendental mind, and this would be a god.
You
So
s-
I think no, I do think you need a god to ground like objective
do
morality. I
you know
think you
what
need a god.
objective means? Do you know what
I
objective means?
I objective would be a stance independent truth.
You realize that God would be a stance if you're saying it's dependent on God. That is literally the stance in which it's dependent on.
No, because a stance can change. It has the potential to change or freely chosen. God would be good due to his nature, not due to his stance.
No, that doesn't even make sense. What do you mean
You can
good
say
by
it doesn't make
nature?
sense.
Are
Yeah,
you
he's
saying
good
God
by
is
his
good?
yeah.
What
Yeah,
do you
so God is good, his nature is good, he's identical to
Okay, so
goodness.
if I help someone who's injured, is that good?
It is a good thing to do, yeah.
Okay, so would me helping that person be God? Does that make sense to you?
So when we say like good God like is identical to goodness, right? We're talking about in an analytical way. We're not talking about like in his essence. His essence isn't identical
That's
to
what you're
goodness.
making the claim about his essence,
No,
his
you
nature.
can
If you're saying
you
he is good, you see where that fundamentally breaks apart.
sure, but you're making that you're not understanding what I mean when I say God's identical to goodness. I don't mean like God. I don't mean goodness in of
What
itself
is good
is.
to you? What are you talking about
But
then? You're running into the. Have you heard of the
just let
Euro
me
dilemma?
finish. I'm trying. Just let me talk.
Okay.
So good in its entirety um, is identical to God, but God in his entirety is not just good. So God is more than just good. God is not only good. That's one of God's attributes, and there's more attributes to God. But don't confuse that with parts. But the reason why, when you mentioned earlier, well, divine, you've got to give some evidence for your God. No, what I'm doing is I'm showing your position is impossible on the contrary. That's all
Yeah.
we're doing. It's called a
Unfortunately,
presupposition.
you haven't, Divine. You haven't done that,
You
and
made a universal truth claim, but you didn't have a justification for why.
you're making false claims again. No, that's you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Okay, and again, you're kind of tripping on words and you're misidentifying what words mean. Saying like
No, okay.
God is good. That's that by nature. That you run into the Euthyphro dilemma. I don't know if you've heard of that, but you're like, oh, I'm making the claim God is good again. Okay, what exactly
Is the claim that
is God
morality?
good independent, or is it God? You're saying that God is good again. So then, how would we establish what good is? What exactly is good then? What is
Yes.
what is defined as good?
Yeah, so good
If
would
you're saying it's
simply.
God, then you run into some issues.
So when we say, we're not saying that good is identical to all of God's attributes, but we would say that the attributes are identical to each other. Okay, but you're not understanding when we're talking about a distinction and versus being the same. You're not understanding a similarity
No,
and
you
real
literally
distinctions.
made that claim. You literally just said God
I,
is good. So by nature, that's
yeah,
exactly what you're saying.
I already explained what I mean by this, and you actually pivoted from my question. When I did ask you, are you making an objective truth claim? You said yes, and then I asked you for the epistemic justification for an objective truth claim, and you didn't give this justification.
I literally simply
How do
said
you have access to
God
universal
is
truth
based
claims over
on what how
particulars?
we view the
You would
world.
only have access to particulars.
What you're not understanding, literally, uh, literally, it's based on how we view the world. I don't understand what you're not understanding about that. It's literally based on how we view the world. Again, objectivity and
Is
when we're making claims about logic, the laws of logic, literally, they are grounded in our reality and what we view the world to be. It's not complicated. I don't know why you can't understand that, but I've explained this many times. It's basic epistemology, but for
do
some
you
reason,
think do you think that mathematics, let's say, because we can talk about more transcendentals. I don't mind which route you want to take. Okay, we can talk about universal truth claims, talk about maths, logic. Let's go to maths. Suppose um, suppose there was no human minds. Uh, would the concept that one rock plus one rock, would that still equal two rocks? Would that still be true if there was no human minds or not?
again, you're running into a fallacious idea here, but human minds are necessary to view these concepts. Again,
Yes, but
same with morality.
the description of the
Minds are
thing is.
necessary to.
But wait, but do you think logic and math are prescriptive or descriptive?
You said are they prescriptive or descriptive?
I think they're prescriptive, and I agree that the description of math would require some kind of human mind, but the concept itself exists independent of the description of the concept.
Yes, but that's only the basis you came to that was on your mind, correct? The basis on how you came to that conclusion was by your
Yes,
mind,
we
correct?
all commit circular reasoning at the paradigmatic level. We all commit circular reasoning. I know that. But what I'm
Exactly.
saying is I have justification for committing this circular reasoning because I have an epistemic justification outside of
No,
myself
because you haven't
for
proved that.
committing this circular reasoning, such as God in
Presupposing
mind.
you're presupposing that that's valid and that the God is the foundation of all those things. You haven't proven that at all or shown
Wait,
that.
I'm showing it's the only logical possibility.
It's
Your view
not
is
the only
impossible.
logical
It
possibility.
is. Is your view is actually impossible? Let me ask you this question. If there was no human minds, would it be true that there's no human minds?
If there was no human minds, would it be true that there were no human minds?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then truth has an ontology external to the human mind. How are you grounding the ontology of truth without a human mind? Because truth is a concept that requires a mind.
No, in terms of like the nature of the universe, then absolutely yes, it can exist outside of a human mind. But our concepts of how we view it and what we say to be true obviously requires a human mind.
Okay, so what is truth?
Truth is basically the factual nature or objective, reality of certain things.
What do you mean objective reality? Objective means it's always true everywhere. How do you have
Yes,
access to something?
true. That's literally what I'm saying.
How do you have access to something being true everywhere when you don't have epistemic justification for something being true everywhere because you don't believe in an omnipresent, omnipotent God? You would
Don't
just have
need to
access to
believe in an
particulars. You
omnipotent
would
God.
do.
You have no evidence
you
about
would,
omnipotent God.
no, you would
You're
have
going in
to. No,
circles.
bro,
You're
just let me
just trying
explain.
to run
Just
from the problem of evil because I've seen you.
I'm not trying to run from the problem of evil.
And I really want to run it through because you're gonna crumble on it. But I mean,
I'm not going to crumble on
we're going round in
anything.
circles.
I'm
I've
not
already
going to crumble on
explained to you.
anything. Okay, just quickly. Okay, just so everybody understands, because a lot of people probably don't understand what we're on about. When I say that something is objectively true, I mean I'm making a universal truth claim, meaning it is true always and everywhere. Now, I can make this claim, and it's justified, okay, because I believe in a mind which exists everywhere and exists
You
outside of
just said a
time.
mind. If
Okay,
the
yes,
objective means independent of any mind,
we
so
can
it
just let me
cannot be
just
in
let
the
me
nature of
finish.
God.
Let me
It's not
finish.
objective.
Let me finish. However, when you say you believe in objective truth claims, right? You believe in like universal truths. You would only have access to particulars because you don't believe in a
No,
mind
no,
that
you don't
wait
understand.
there, wait there, wait there, wait there,
You've
just
already
wait there,
conceded the
wait,
argument.
just wait there.
No.
You
1 second,
just let
divine.
me finish. Please let me
You
finish. Please let
already
me finish. Don't
conceded the
interrupt me.
argument, divine. You
I
already
haven't
conceded.
conceded.
1
Let me
second.
finish. Don't interrupt
Wait,
me.
1 second. No. Just listen. You've already conceded what you're trying to say. You just said, I believe in a mind. Objective means independent of any mind. So you're trying to use objective and truth
No,
with a God. That's literally false. And you're now
I
presupposing his existence into
okay,
the argument.
okay,
You're already
no.
presupposing all the intuition baked in with God into the argument that you're trying to make when you haven't even, proven what you need to already prove. And then you're just saying, well, and that means God actually has to exist because we need. No. You need to first prove a certain thing, and you have to prove actually God exists before you start baking him into any type of epistemological argument that you're trying to make about the nature of reality. I don't know why it's just so hard for you to understand, but
Okay. Yeah. So what the point of the argument is to show that the position, like your position, is impossible. It's logically impossible. It's incoherent. It's absurd. Just let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. Please don't interrupt me.
oh God,
Okay.
oh God.
Okay. So when a theist like myself says that something is objectively true, we mean it is true always and everywhere. Now, you would not have access to these universal truth claims because you don't believe in a being that is outside of time, outside of space, and exists everywhere.
That's
You don't believe in
non-existent
it.
being
Just let me finish.
outside.
Please let me
Wait,
please.
hold on with me.
Why can I never finish, man? Like I didn't interrupt you and you're just
No,
cutting me off.
Finish. Go ahead.
Okay.
Finish.
So I have epistemic justification external to myself, okay, for making these universal truth claims because there is a mind which would ground these universal truth claims. You would not because you only have access to particulars. So you can't say anything is objectively true. Your stance would crumble to absurdity. How do you have access to something being true always everywhere? Please tell me.
How do you have access to the nature of God?
I think we can observe like the actions of God, but I don't think we have to like
Can you show me
understand
the
God in its
actions of God
entirety.
in our universe? Can you show me the actual actions he's done,
Uh,
and that is from God, please? Can you show us?
yeah, the universe itself. Now, can you please answer my question
Where
because
is
you didn't
evidence that
answer?
that's the action of God? Do you have video footage of God like touching the universe
Oh,
and stuff?
come on, man. You
Where
know
is
it's a
it?
bad argument. Come
No,
on.
but like you're making claims about the
Wait,
nature of reality.
do you have video evidence of the nature of the laws of logic? Do you have metaphysical
No.
concepts on
I
video?
mean,
Do
no.
you have do you have any metaphysical? Do you have any video proof of metaphysical concepts? No, but you still believe in them. You still subscribe to them. You still.
They're
What are you
subjective
talking
based
about?
on our mind, but the things such as gravity, we can have actual tangible evidence in our universe. But
Because
you're making a claim about God in our universe and that He's physically
gravity isn't a
affected our
metaphysical
universe.
concept. Wait, what are you
Where is
talking about?
evidence? If we're
Gravity
talking
isn't.
about fundamentally, no, their concepts are metaphysical. They don't exist in the physical, but they're
They
just
exist in the
based on
mind. Okay, they
and
exist
the
in the
mind. It
mind.
doesn't make
Okay,
an actual thing. Just
cool,
like I can think of a unicorn.
cool.
I can think of a unicorn with 100 arms in my mind. That doesn't make it a necessarily true thing in reality. You're making claims about reality, epistemological claims in reality, and you've yet to substantiate them. And I want
Okay.
to, and also you mentioned something about timeless and spaceless. You're already committing so many contradictions and stuff that you insane. And I know
Well,
you're afraid of going to it because you know.
I promise. If I'm afraid of any debater, it's not you. So, do you believe that metaphysical concepts exist external to the human mind?
Oh God.
Do you think metaphysical concepts exist external to the human mind? I'm not talking about the description of them. I'm talking about the ontology of the metaphysical concept itself. Do you think they exist external to the human mind? Yes or no?
Not if you're doing what you're doing, claiming that they're factual based on the fact that we think it, which is
Do
basically
you?
what you're doing.
No, I'm not. Do you think metaphysical concepts exist external to the human mind? Yes or no?
I literally just answered that question.
No, you didn't. Yes or no?
I literally just answered that question as not if they're, making objective claims about the nature of reality, which is what you're doing. Then no.
Okay, cool. So let's say like there was no human minds to exist. Do you think the laws of logic would still exist? I'm not talking about the description of them. I'm talking about the laws of logic themselves.
No, considering they're based on what we believe to be true. As I'm saying,
Okay, so if there was no human minds, could the universe exist and not exist at the same time?
the universe would exist.
No, I'm saying if there was no human minds, would it be logically possible for the universe to exist and not exist at the same time? Because that would be a contradiction. If you say yes, your position's absurd. If you say no, then you're saying the law of non-contradiction still exists external to the human mind.
You're not understanding. Oh my
Wait,
God.
answer the question. Could the universe exist? Could the universe exist? Could the universe answer the question? Answer the question. Wait, don't run. Please answer the question.
Listen,
Please.
the laws of logic are fundamentally based on what we think.
I disagree. I disagree.
But they can exist, obviously there's fundamental things exist, but we can look at them, we can see them.
Do they exist external to the human mind?
They can exist external to the human mind, absolutely.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Claim that.
Great. Great.
But the
Oh,
point
good.
is this.
W.
The
Thank
point
you.
is this is that, the point is that we use them fundamentally, and you're making claims about the objective nature of God, and you're twisting it in a way to try and make God seem real.
Because you doing the application of metaphysical concepts is not the same as explaining how or why they exist. It seems like as an atheist, you never answer the why or the how.
Evidence of God. You have no evidence of
I'm
that.
showing you it is the only coherent view, and your view is completely absurd and incoherent.
no.
It's logically
That's not
impossible. That's
true.
your position.
That's
That
not
is
true,
true.
and I've just
So
explained that was not
can
true.
you answer?
I want to go into the times.
Wait, why do you want to stay on this topic? Why do you want to pivot?
Because
pivot.
we're just
Please don't
going
run.
round in circles. We're just
Because you're running. Wait, you
I'm not
never answered
running.
my
You
question.
ran from all my
Wait,
questions.
okay. I will
You ran
happily
from
move
every single
on.
one.
I will
want
happily
you to
move on.
establish your time. 1 second. You said God is timeless and spacious. Do you know that's a contradiction to what you believe? Please.
I am convinced that this doesn't lead to
Please.
contradictions. Can I just quickly? No, just please. I will answer all of your questions. No, I'm not running. We were talking about metaphysical concepts. I will answer every question you have. The moment you answer, please let me finish my other question, and I will answer anything. I'm not a coward. Okay, answer the question. Okay, can the universe exist and not exist at the same time?
No.
That means you believe the metaphysical concept that is the law of non-contradiction exists even if there is no human minds. How are you grounding this metaphysical concept without a human mind, because metaphysical concepts only exist in the mind?
You're confusing yourself on basic epistemology, and it's sad.
I'm confusing myself.
Subjective and objective. You don't understand. It's upsetting, but I don't know how many other times I need to explain this to you.
How do these metaphysical? What's your grounding for the metaphysical concepts? Could you tell me?
Have
Please?
subjective,
Please?
subjective interpretations of what we view the world and the nature of the world to be, but that doesn't necessarily mean certain concepts don't actually,
So what's the grounding for them? Because you said metaphysical concepts only exist in the mind. Now you're saying they exist even without human minds. What mind do they exist in, Train?
You're not understanding.
What mind do they exist in, Train?
You're not understanding. Just relax.
What minds do they exist in? Because wait, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? You said no. You said wait. The observation is different. The observation and the application is different than explaining how this thing exists. No, because everybody heard you say.
What we also observe is that you keep avoiding the topics that I'm bringing.
I have not avoided anything.
Just address that.
Everybody.
1 second, quickly. Can you address that?
So disingenuous.
Do you believe God made the universe? Do you believe God made the universe?
You're so disingenuous, A-Train. You won't
God made the
answer.
universe? Why can't you answer it?
I do believe God made the universe. Yeah.
Okay, do you realize that if he's timeless, he can't have made the universe? Because to create something requires a time in which it wasn't created, and then it was created. It requires time to create something. So if you're saying he's outside of time and space, then there's no way in which he could affect time and space. So that's a logical contradiction. Number one, very quickly, disproving any concept of God that you're saying. But back to this, concept of whatever. Oh my goodness, the laws of contradiction. You don't understand.
I don't.
Okay. Again, we can have subjective views of
Do you know the difference between the ontology of something? Do you know the difference between ontology and epistemology?
Why do you keep asking me red herrings?
Because
Obviously, I know.
no, because I will happily answer the question, and it's simply that there was
And
never
I
a
really
point where
wanted to
God
debate the
that
form of evil, but
I'm answering your question. Wait, I'm answering your question. I believe that God is pure actual, meaning there was never a point where he wasn't creating. You're applying a very like worldly kind of interpretation of what we
no,
mean when we
you
say
literally
God
made a
chose to
claim of
create.
timeless and spaceless. That's
There
something
was,
that doesn't exist.
bro. Please don't interrupt me.
What's the
There
difference
was
between him and a unicorn? You know, something that's timeless and something that's not non-existent. Do you know
yeah
the difference? That's
yeah.
literally a
So
contradiction. If it's timeless and
okay,
spaceless, you're saying it doesn't exist in
can I?
space. You're saying it basically doesn't exist because all things
Okay,
by nature are natural that affect
okay.
the universe.
I would say metaphysical concepts transcend space and time. They are timeless and spaceless, but I would say these concepts still exist. Your argument that if something exists outside of space and time, that it doesn't exist does not logically follow. I will answer your question, how did God create? Sure. There was never a point where God wasn't creating. He is pure actual. Okay? He's pure
What does
act.
that mean? You're just
He's
making. You're
he's
just
he's
saying
pure
words.
act.
Pure
So
actual
you
is not
believe
actual
that you
word.
believe there was a point where God like didn't choose to create and then chose to create. Time didn't exist at a point
If
where
there's
God.
if he created, then that requires time in which to create something. There was a point and a change in time in which he decided to create something. And if he's creating something, is by nature affecting the physical world, the material world. And
Mhm.
if it's affecting the material world, then you're making a material claim. So he's
Because
spaceless.
yeah,
It's
so
very simple.
I think that God's essence, right, is atemporal, but I think his actions can be observed temporally. So we can observe his act, and it can seem as though it's happening within time, even though like his essence is not. Like you're kind of conflating
There's a
if
contradiction. You're
God,
saying he's in
I don't.
time, but he's in not. He's in time, but he's in not.
No,
Which one is it?
I
It's a
think
contradiction.
God's actions can be measured and observed in time, but this doesn't mean that God's
Measured and
essence.
observed in
This
time,
doesn't
then
this